you need him? Is he ready to play tomorrow?
Everybody that was out on the ice is cleared today, and then we make decisions based on where players are at.
So it's just a coach's decision from here?
Based on where players are at, where we think they're at. I mean, we have a few players out there like that. Where they're at physically, we make decisions.
Peter, I'm curious about...
There's no restrictions on anybody out there today. Yeah.
A guy we haven't talked about in a while is Jonathan Quick. And I'm just wondering his experience factor and the leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership a lot, and what he brings into times like this.
Well, you're right. I mean, his voice is, when he says something, people listen. He's been through it. He's done it. Multiple Stanley Cup winner. When you get somebody like that in your locker room, it's important. It could just be, a conversation that I have with him, or he may just talk to somebody else, or maybe he says something between a period that people stop and they listen, because this is a guy that knows exactly what it takes to be successful. And so to have him here this year has been incredible. The fact that he's going to be with us moving forward is also incredible.
Peter, can you just talk about the fourth win in the series when you're trying to close out a team, how different it is than the first three?
Yeah, they're all hard. The fourth one's hard because I think the more your back gets up against the wall as an opponent, the better, the more your game is, the better your game is, the more intense it is. And so, putting teams away is I think something that that it's going to be a good battle. It's going to be a good grind because they're playing for their lives. And that's just, I think, the nature of human beings at some point, right? You're fighting for your life and you're really digging in. And so in order to get to that point for the fourth win, you really got to make sure that your game is on point as well.
How do you do that?
What's that?
How do you do that, given the fact that your life is
We-
not on
we-
the line yet?
Yeah, I mean, we know where we're at. We know, we know that, they've put a couple wins into the series now, and it's your time is, that in that window, you start with best of 7, it obviously closes and moves down. And, we talk about things that we have to do, changes we might make, things we have to do, how we have to play. And, you try and get the guys to a point where they're ready to go.
A couple of guys said we need to play. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I yield.
I'm wondering what your observations are about Shesterkin as a presence, as a goalie. Now having a month or so in this playoff run with him as compared to other goalies you've been with.
Are you talking like through the end of the season and the playoffs, like how he is every day? Both of our goaltenders, but you're talking about Shesty, they compete and they work hard every day. They're diligent about their business. They try to bring their game into practice and make sure that they're practicing the right way so that they can play the right way. And you see that, for me, I see that translate with him into his game. I think he's been outstanding with the way he's played. He's games where, we've had a lot come at us. He's been the guy that, when it comes down to that goaltending position, that's the guy that has to be, in the end, the difference maker. There's always going to be chances. There's always going to be shots. And he is that guy for me. He's a guy that you want in the net going into a big game down in Carolina. I think that he's proven that down the stretch, through the course of his career, down the stretch, and into the playoffs here as well. And so I think a lot of it comes from his mental preparation on how he prepares himself for the game, whether it's off the ice or on the ice in practice, and then he's able to take that, take what he's put into prepping for that game and bring it into the game and deliver that. I think he's done it at a high level.
Peter, if you decide to go with Miller and Trouba, if they were out there, what do you like about that pair in this context of where they are right now?
I mean, it's not, may or may not be exactly how it was out there today with everybody. So, but in speaking with Miller and Trouba, there's a lot of experience there. They played a long time together, a lot of minutes together. Again, I still feel like no matter where we go on the back end, we still have a really good balance of defensemen that are experienced and a lot of confidence in the group of six. But, you know, they definitely have had experience playing together, a lot of experience. And I think no matter which direction we go, you know, we've got a great group of six out there on the ice in the game.
Kind of
Drew
going.
said we need to play our way. Do you agree, and what does that mean?
Well, I was pretty open about the game, last game. I don't think we played very well. And so that was not our way. I don't know if it's that simple. When you've had success in the regular season and you had success in the playoffs, I even liked the way we played in Game 4. I just didn't like the result. I didn't like the start, that we were a little bit loose in a couple things, but we competed pretty hard for 60 minutes. There's a certain amount of speed and compete that goes into our game, a certain amount of details with defense, a certain amount of attack offensively. There's things that we have done that we all understand inside of our room what makes us successful. So maybe that's what he's referring to. I don't know, but for me, that's what makes us successful as a team. And so we were off the mark in Game 5. We need to get back on the mark.
Peter, Chris Kreider, escape today, maintenance was the reason.
Yeah.
Is there any reason for a level of concern for him tomorrow, or is the expectation that he's available and today was just a normal playoff maintenance?
I'm hoping that today was just a normal playoff maintenance.
Kind of broadening Arthur's question a little bit, just looking at that you're going back, if you do, going back to the defense as what they were for a majority of the season. I guess why at this moment in time? Is it more about, you know, the track record, or is it the moment in time?
Yeah. Again, I'll probably just stay with my same answer. That we had a lot of confidence in our D pairs, and not, you know, again, it may not be exactly the same way that you saw it today with regard to forwards and D. The pairs that we put together, we have a lot of confidence in. And so going back to my answer, I think that Jacob and Key have played a lot of minutes together. They're big, they're strong. Not that Braden isn't. I could answer questions on that too if you want. But they're big and strong, and they have a lot of experience of playing against top lines, as has Braden and Key recently as well.
How incumbent is it for your leaders, your best players, to set the tone?
Yeah, I think we've done a pretty good job of that. Again, we're coming off of a game where I don't think we're happy as a group, but for the most part, we've done that. And I think in any side of any successful team, I think your leaders have to be the guys that step to the forefront, and this group has for the entire year and the playoffs. Those have been the guys that. But that being said as well, you know, I go back to different scenarios. I go back to Game 1 in Washington when, you know, it was Gaudreau and VC and Rempe that did the damage. We need everybody. Yeah, we need. You mentioned Shesterkin. We need Shesty. It's not about, you know, the guys that score goals. Or we need a complete game from our team. We're playing a good club. We know that, and you know, we need to play well.
Do you get a sense that there's anger from the group about how they played in the
I think that from what I get is that there's oftentimes a realization that it wasn't us and who we want to be, and oftentimes this year, many times this year, they fixed it.
Kind of speaking to that, you know, you learn more from losing than you do from winning. Have you learned more this series about your team than you had last round against Washington, just with everything that's
I mean, again, going back to the whole year, it's kind of been that way. The team has proven itself, and you're in the playoffs, and now we're met with some challenges, and we're look for a response in Game 6, and for the guys to. And I mean, again, the history says that we'll play a much better game in Game 6.